Hey y'all, this is Sherry. I just wanted to record something for you real quick because first of all, I had my scan today and completely just praying, completely just trusting God with all of it. Um, and so for all of you guys who are like willing to pray and agree with me that things would be well, thank you so much. I truly am just like blown away at all that God's done this far, in all that He's continuing to do. But the main reason why so first I wanted to thank those who were praying. But second of all, I wanted to record this because um, I wanted to just kind of share a little bit about what actually happens inside my body, like when I go and I think about these scans and I think about what's going to happen and I think about what the results could be. I think about, all these things, right? So like I just find myself just getting just like over it's an overwhelming feeling of being flooded with information that's negative. And like in these moments, I feel like it's like that fight or flight that sort of happens where you like I keep kind of going through this feeling of I'd rather just not ever have a scan again and never know what's going on, like because the fear and the anxiety that comes along with that, the pressure and the torment of that is like it's it's crippling. And anyway, so as I went through the scan and everything today, I had Nathan read some scriptures with me, and then I turned on some worship, and I was praying before I went in there. And just for the last few days that I knew that we were going to do the scan, I kept finding myself the moment I think scan or what I needed to do to prepare for the scan, I would almost feel inside like an anxiety attack trying to happen. And I began to think about, so that was happening those days. And then when I went into the scan, it was happening again, where when they're like, hey, sit down here, lay down here, this is what we're gonna do, I started just feeling like this just gripping fear, anxiety, pressure, trying to come over me. And that's mainly why I wanted to talk with you guys or share this little bit with you guys today, because in that moment, I felt like I could have just taken my fist and scream and yell and beat on that machine. And I mean, it was just just this frustration. But I was able to like play some worship music and just like pray. And in that moment, y'all, it's such a cool thing. In that moment of just saying like, God, I trust you and you are trustworthy, and like just recognizing who He is and just resting in that. It makes my entire body, guys, silence. I mean, silence. I mean, I literally feel like I could be submitted into a ward, okay? The anxiety gets so heightened with my flesh. But in that moment that I choose to focus on the Word, to focus in faith instead of fear, to grab a hold to the love of the Lord and let that song come up out of my heart, and that reflection keep reflecting, like washing over and over and over my thoughts, in that moment, my entire body, I mean, from my head all the way to the tips of my fingers, to the tips of my toes, becomes at peace. And it is the coolest thing ever. And I share this because I've had several family members who are gripped with anxiety and fear and the torment of things, what ifs, right? But I'm telling you, my body's saying one thing and if I allow my spirit to speak louder than what my brain and my body is saying to respond, it is so, y'all, it is so refreshing. And grab a hold to the word. Grab a hold to God's word. Let it continue. If it's one verse, it doesn't matter. It just, like, as it continues on and on and on, like, study what that verse means. Study what God's trying to share with you in that moment, in his word, what he's trying to say and to speak. Our bodies can just speak so much to us in, like, in our spirit, our spirit man, just like it declares the things it's in need of, right? So, like, imagine if you've gone without water, you feel very parched and very dehydrated, right? And you're like, oh, I'm thirsty. Guess what? Our spirit does that. And it's such a, like a, I don't even feel like I have a word for it, because it's just such a feeling of just rest and refreshing, and allowing the Lord to speak over our hearts and lives. And so my prayer today is, even as I went through that and encounter that, I just pray that as you guys are faced with situations and circumstances, that you'll remember this, and that you will grab a hold to God's word, and you will let his word just continue restoring and regenerating your whole being, as he just loves over us. So, love you all. Thank you again for all of your love and care, and I'm greatly appreciative. And just know that as much as I love and appreciate you, God's love for you, is so much bigger than any of that. And so he loves you. You are his own, and he longs for that relationship with you. And so just pursue that, and know that as you do, it's not a fearful, stressful thing, but it's a place of peace and rest. So, love you all. Take care.